So here's the thing. I don't know how to set a realistic TBR for myself, so just you wait and see. Hello friends, I'm Rosa. Welcome to the channel. So today we're going through my July TBR. I don't know what I was thinking creating this TBR, but you'll see in a second. You'll see in it's very optimistic. We're only dealing with 10 books. However, I would say that the thickness and the genre of the books just makes this TBR a little bit impossible for me to do in July in the middle of the summer. Anyway, as per usual, you can find links to all the books in the description box, both through Amazon and also Book Depository, so if you're interested in any of them, you can find them down there. I think along with genres as well and author names and stuff. But let's get started going through this 10-book TBR. So we're starting out with my book club's primary pick for July, which is Book of Night by Olivie Blake. If you want to check out the book club, there's always a link to it in the pinned comment. I will be covering this in a patron-exclusive spoilery vlog as well, which I'm super excited for. But that said, I think I've mentioned this a couple of times in other videos. I don't really know what this book is about fully, other than it has to do with some shadow magic. We have a lead character who doesn't necessarily always make the best decisions, and there's something about a man too. And that's all I know. That's all I really know. Because it's one of those books that I kind of don't want to read the synopsis for before going into it. I feel like that with certain books, that's just how it is. So this is one of them. But I'm excited for it. I'm super excited for it. Although also a little bit nervous, because it seems to be getting mixed reviews somehow. So I don't know. Might just be people kind of expecting Olivie Blake to only read about fae, but we will see. Also, this is the Illumicrate version if you're curious why it looks a little bit different. So first book for next month is the Book of Night. This is also adult, I think urban fantasy, and it also includes magic. And it's gonna be fun going into. Next up, we have Dark Rise by C.S. Pacat. I hope I'm pronouncing their last name correctly, but I could be mispronouncing it. So in this book, we follow our lead guy, whose name is Will. He lives, I think it's historical fiction, but it kind of takes place in our world. I think, I could be wrong. Oh, and I got curious. It says London, so yeah. But in this version of our world, we have had a war in the past between the light and the dark. So on the light side, we have people called the Stewards, and on the dark side, it is kind of led by the Dark King. But this war hasn't been going on for centuries. However, the Stewards are always kind of keeping an eye on things to see if maybe it'll start again and stuff. In comes Will, who is currently on the run because his mom has been murdered. The people that have murdered his mom are kind of trying to find Will. And he's approached by the Stewards and basically told that he's supposed to be on their side and help them in this looming war, because as rumor has it, the Dark King is about to make a return. And apparently Will has some kind of big role in this upcoming war with the Dark. And that's Dark Rise. It's super intriguing, by the way. The synopsis, like, I didn't do it justice. The synopsis sounds very, very intriguing. I believe it's the first in a trilogy. I have no idea when the sequel is coming out because I think this has been out since 2020, so we'll see. It's probably been delayed by, world events and stuff, but hoping there'll be news on it sometime soon. So as for the other books, some I have promised you guys that I would read throughout 2022. Some of them are books that have sequels being announced, or sequel not being announced, but coming out in like August and stuff, and I kind of want to read them to see if I'm interested in the sequels. This first one, though, is one of those ones I think you've told me to read, which is Priory of the Orange Tree. I think I've mentioned this one in another TBR video, probably in May's TBR video. However, I never got the time to read it. It's a thick one, so it does deserve some dedication, and I realized that, and that's why I haven't had time to go into it yet. Also, just want to say, I'm going into July still reading The Way of Kings. So, still working my way through it currently. So this will be fun. We have so much reading to do. I'm nervous. The Priory of the Orange Tree, though, is actually one of those books I don't know what's about fully, other than it's a priory filled, or there's a priory filled with women and something about a dragon as well. That's all I know. Something about, I think there's a lost heir or something like that too. A queendom without an heir. Yeah. There's no synopsis on this book or in this book. so I can't even read up on it right now. But I'm also completely okay with not fully knowing what it's about. All I do know is that it's a very well-loved book, very, very well received, and that the world building is supposed to be like super amazing. So I'm looking forward to this a lot. But I kind of want to finish The Way of Kings before I go into another very big world. So, oh, it's by Samantha Shannon too. I forgot to say that. I apologize. But also, and I think I've said this in a video too, my favorite blurb on the bag is the next generation of hit fantasy fiction, a feminist Lord of the Rings. Like, that's just, I'm sold. Feminist Lord of the Rings, I'm sold. There were no women in the Fellowship, you know? That's messed up. I'm just saying. Okay, then we have one that came out in about November last year, I think, and it's All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody and Lynn Herman. And this one might be a little bit difficult to explain, but it's about basically think like dueling magicians, but take it to Hunger Games levels. So we have 7 different families that all deal in magic. Every blood moon, there's supposed to be this tournament that the 7 families partake in, and the winner of this tournament ends up getting access to this source of magic, which is a magical power source that basically people think has been depleted, but obviously it has not. However, this time, during this full moon, or blood moon, not full moon, during this blood moon, there's a book that's been published which basically puts every family's like strategies and powers and all that stuff out in the open. And this is something that's never happened before in the history of this world or the city or wherever country, I suppose. I don't really know. So this year is going to be a little bit different, and I'm excited. The sequel is coming out in August, I think. So I figured it would be a good time to look into this now, also because I think people are generally saying it's pretty good. So I'm excited. So let's talk about 2 books that I don't have as physical copies. Or one of them is on its way here, and the other one I will be reading on Kindle. First one being Zodiac Academy by Carolyn Peckham and also Susanne Valenti. I don't know what this is about. At all, but everyone's raving over Zodiac Academy. So I kind of figured I would jump on the wave. I know that the first 3 books are supposed to be a little bit on, or not necessarily super good. Feels like a lot to go through to actually get to the good stuff, but I'm a patient person. I'm willing to sacrifice my time to be aware of whatever like everyone else is saying, because everyone seems to have read Zodiac Academy. FOMO is hitting hard, okay? So I'm gonna be reading the first one, and if I like the characters, I'll be moving on to the others, but I just want to like see if I vibe with them first, if you get what I mean, before I make the full commitment. So that's on my list for July. And then the other one is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, which my patrons unknowingly picked for me. So I sometimes over on Patreon do like emoji votes for my TBR picks because I can be pretty indecisive. And I put up 3 different books that were basically just represented by emojis. One of the options was A Bikini and a Sun, and you voted for that one, so I'm reading It Happened One Summer, which I'm really looking forward to. I love myself a good adult contemporary romance, and I'm probably gonna devour it. Also because, like, compared to all the other books, it kind of stands out a little bit. So it's gonna be my one adult contemporary in July where you're supposed to, like, lie on the beach and read, you know, happy adult contemporary romances, rom-coms and all that stuff. But no, I'm only reading that one. I'm looking forward to it, though. Thank you for picking that for me. And after that, we have Dune by Frank Herbert. And, I don't even know how to fully explain what this is about, but I also don't think I necessarily have to. This is a sci-fi classic. It's one of the 12 books that you want me to read throughout 2022, so I am taking this on in July, apparently in the same month that I'm also reading The Way of Kings. Yes, I will keep mentioning that, by the way. And also Priory, and we got another thick one that I haven't mentioned yet. But I'm reading Dune. It felt like a good July read for some reason. I think it's all the sand. I'm just gonna say it like it is. I think it's all the sand. It feels like a July book, you know? But a few things I can say about this is it's a sci-fi classic. It has to do with a boy who's basically the chosen one. He has a bit like there's a chosen one vibe to it, at least, as far as I've gathered. And there's something about like very valuable spice that you can actually get from the sand in some areas of the world that this takes place in. Something about backstabbing as well, like betrayal and that stuff. So I am excited to be reading it so I can fully... Oh, Link is in the way. Okay. so I can fully explain it to you in my wrap-up. But I'm also super nervous because it's sci-fi and I am not generally the best person at sci-fi. Like, I think I've nailed fantasy by now, but sci-fi is kind of like half unknown territory to me, so an adult thick sci-fi classic book is a little bit intimidating to me, but I'm gonna read it because I've been told to, so we're doing it. Then we got another one whose sequel is also coming out in August, and that is the Jasmine Throne by Throne by Tasha Suri. I was a little bit quick on, a little bit too quick there, but in this book we follow two girls. One is, I think her title might be Princess, but she's basically kept prisoner a bit by her brother who's currently sitting on the throne. She has been exiled to this, or in this temple, where she's basically only visited a couple of times a day and stuff. One of the people that are visiting her and like taking care of her needs and everything is a maid whose name I don't know. And this maid is carrying a very big secret. The two girls kinda, or women I should say, I think this is an adult, so I think the proper word for them is actually women. But the two women kind of find themselves not at odds with each other. How do you say this? I think our maid is busted one day by their princess in doing something, and because of that, their fates are intertwined. So our princess wants to get the throne, and our maid has other secrets, and she also wants to save her family. So the sequel to this one is the Oleander Sword, which is coming out in August. And I have heard many, many good things about this book, so I'm very excited to be reading it. And if I love it, the Oleander Sword is gonna get pre-ordered very, very quickly. Next up is one of the 12 books again that you guys want me to read throughout 2022, and that is House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I'm pretty sure this is one of them. Wait, I might be misremembering the books actually. Oh yeah, it's definitely on my list. I'm halfway through them, by the way. Very proud of myself. But in this book, we follow a guy who goes to visit an orphanage. And this is an orphanage that's very special. All the kids that are at this orphanage essentially have powers that are so powerful they can cause the end of the world. At the orphanage, there's also a man who turns out to be very, very interesting for our lead guy, and who might be carrying some secrets of his own too. So again, another book that I myself have heard many, many good things about, but you've also told me to read it, so I will because I listened to you. So that's another July read. This book cover screams summer to me, so that's why I decided to put it in July, because July is like the summer month for me personally, at least. Some people would probably say August, but for me it's July, so. And the last book is A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy, I think it's I. I think that's an I. Yes, Judy I. Lynn. Don't know much about this, to be honest. But the sequel is coming out in either August or September. This was a cover buy when I bought it. I'm just gonna say it out loud, like, admit it. But can you blame me? Like, can you blame me? Look at it though. But also it has to do with magical tea and tea ceremonies and stuff. So I was very intrigued by that aspect of it because I've never heard about magical tea. It has to do with the way that you prepare the tea and what ingredients you put in it and stuff. And because of that, this tea will have different magical abilities. So I think that sounds super, super intriguing. Also seems like a faster read, although I just noticed the letters like tiny. Have you ever seen letters this small in a book? What? Wow, they're tiny. His silver hair. Where'd the silver hair go? Oh, I lost it. Someone has silver hair. Winning hears of a competition to find the kingdom's greatest Shenoshi. I don't know how to pronounce Chinese, sorry. Masters of the ancient and magical art of tea making. She travels to the imperial city to compete. So there's some competition in there too. I'm excited for this. I think it's gonna be a cute read, and it's gonna be a little bit lighter compared to, you know, these thick boys right here. So I'm excited. If you've read any of these books, definitely let me know. Also Zodiac Academy and also It Happened One Summer. If you want to read along with Book of Night and also Dark Rise, you can check out my Patreon. Again, it's linked in the pinned comment at the top of the comment section. I'm excited. It's gonna be a good month. Very optimistic though, but I'll do my best. My TBR videos are always kind of like guidelines. If I don't feel like reading whatever books are on the list. When I'm picking out books again, like when I'm done with one and moving on to the next one, I'll just pick one at random that I just feel like reading in the moment. So they're always just guidelines, basically. I feel like setting a list for yourself doesn't really work for me personally, per se, but often I actually stick to them. because there's always a nice mix on the list that I make. But yeah, let me know if you've read any of them. I'd love to hear your opinions. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here and you want to stick around, hang out with me and everyone in the comments and nerd out about books. Also, if you like bookish unboxings and reading wrap-ups, reading vlogs, 24-hour readathons, and you know all that stuff, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button. But that is all I got for you guys today, so I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!
Oh, you know you're beautiful, and it's like